ready to begin our class. We've got a small class today, so we've moved it to the bold training room. We just have a couple people here, and hopefully I won't have any issues connecting to the internet today. So I've already found out that both people here just need kind of the overview. They're taking the class and need another overview, and they don't have any specific questions, so I want to make sure I address all of those. This is command compliance, so we're not going to talk about marketing and Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff. This is really just how to get paid. And I don't dive deep into DocuSign. I talk about how you use DocuSign with command. However, Chelsea just reminded me to say that we are going to have a DocuSign live videos go up where we're going to videotape 4 to 5 minute snippets on how to do this in DocuSign, and we're going to post it on our YouTube channel, all those training videos, and that link is going out today. So if you have specific, like you want specific DocuSign training, we will cover some of it in here as to how you e-sign through command. But those videos will probably touch on a lot of information that's not going to be in this class. So that'll be good. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Just pretend this isn't here. Okay? Because the big class is there too, and nobody ever notices it, so they ask questions. Okay. So I'm you know how to get into command, agent.kw.com, and that brings me here. Okay. So if you look over here, if you can follow my cursor, these are all your little icons of things, and you can hover over them and see, or you can just click on that and it'll expand it for you so you can actually see. Until after a while you'll get to know what the little icons are and you don't need that anymore. Okay? It all starts with a contact, so you have to enter a contact in order to enter an opportunity. And keep in mind that as you're thinking about command compliance, like this class, the only two of you, I'm not sure, but it's been taking about an hour. That does not mean that every time you have to upload documents, it's going to take you an hour. I'm taking you back to contacts, which you should already have done this months ago, right? You should have already entered information like, oh, I'm showing them a house, I've had an appointment. So I'm taking you back to the beginning and kind of showing you this is what you would have done over the course of several months even. Right. So I don't want you to get stuck thinking, wow, compliance takes an hour. That's not true. All of this stuff, it's going to take an hour to show you all that. But this is all stuff that should have been done previous to this, okay? So contacts, I just want to show you how to make sure you know how to do that. I'm going to click on contacts, and then then you say add contact, right? And I'm going to, it probably won't let me add one. Well, it might let me add you, okay, because I don't know if I have you in there yet. So,
VANROMER.
VANROMER. Okay. Email?
Audra at thespinkgroup.com.
Okay.
864.
You know what? I'm just going to mine him.
That's fine. It's not typing anything.
Oh, it's not. No, come on. There we go. No, let's put yours over there.
That's fine. You can put mine in there. 710-8711.
Okay. And then, of course, again, we're not going to get into this deeply, but you can add tags and all that. And just so you know, we're trying to get somebody in the Market Center to go over a lot of this kind of things. He's awesome. So you can click this and you can add a whole new screen pops up and you can add new information. But I want to get the basics of this, so I'm going to create. Now let's see if I don't think there. So that's how you do it. Okay. Interesting that it took me directly to create opportunity. I'm going to go back to contacts because that's probably where you're going to be, and that's where you enter those contacts. So you can do all your marketing. You would have done this for a while ago. You can create an opportunity 2 ways. You can click on the contact here. See, I clicked on her name, and then opportunity is over here. I've got to back up because my eyes. And then create opportunity.
Oh, okay.
And that way she's already tied there. Or I can go to over here, that little holding hands thing, that's opportunities. You can click there, and I can click create opportunity there, and then I have to type in my contact because it's not tied to her already. Either way, it's fine. It just depends on where you are and how you use command and what's the most efficient for you.
Okay.
Either way is fine. So I'm going to go this way. Greenville Drive is correct. I'm going to say it's a listing. I'm gonna select like my husband. I've already got one like that. Now notice something. When I select him, it automatically pops in an opportunity name. Brazier dash listing. If I had selected buyer up here, it would be Brazier/buyer. Okay. Keep in mind that when we're looking at your compliance documents and looking them up, even like when you bring your closing check in and want to get paid, we're looking at by address, yes, and we're looking at by opportunity name and address. So particularly if it's a listing, even though it defaults to that, you're going to want to override that with 143 test Ave, okay, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're beginning to work with a buyer, remember you're doing all of this months ago
Right.
or weeks ago. You're not going to know, right? Because you haven't settled on a house yet. So in that case, let it default to your buyer name, and then once you have a contract, go back here and edit it. And when you edit it, it's fine with me if you leave Brazier/buyer in there, and then put a dash and put the address afterwards. If it helps you to have the buyer name in there, because again, you get used to looking things up, that's absolutely fine. It will pull it up for me when I look at it. If both are there, if I just type in the address and you still have your buyer name in there, it'll still pull it up for me and for Chelsea. So that's fine. You can leave that information there if that helps you. Okay.
Okay.
And you go back, and I'll show you once we get out of this how to go back and edit it once you do that. So I'm going to create this. Oh, no, not yet. I'm going to say estimated close date. We're going to put it out here to March. Commission rate, I'm getting 3%. Opportunity phase, we're going to say it's an active listing. Now, again, when you start and you have your contacts, you might be in the cultivate phase. You might be in the appointment phase, right? So you need to make sure when you're using command that you're going in there and you are changing stages as you get an exclusive right to sell signed, then you're active, right? You want to make sure you're changing these stages in there. There's a couple, and you can do it here by editing, and I'm going to say we're in negotiations because I want to look at offers, okay? So I'm going to create that, and I'm going to show you something else on how to do this. So let's go back to my opportunities, and I'm going to click on active because I made this one active, but obviously if it was in cultivate, it would be there, and you'd see some there. If it was under appointment, it'd be there. So, and you can go under your contact and find it. So, I mean, it's not like if you don't change it to active the day you get it signed, it's going to be an issue. You can change it later. But then you can also do this. You can, like, I used Megan before. You have a trying to be before Megan because I sold your house. So, like, I could move this over to staging here. I don't even have to open it up.
That's cool.
So you can move it from, like, appointment to cultivate to appointment to active just by dragging and dropping, almost like if you're in Trello.
Easier.
It's like a Trello board. Yeah, you can go in there and look around. Oh, wait a second. I've signed an agreement with that person. You can just move it over. Okay. Actually, hang on. This is in the active, the different stages showing negotiation. So that's different. I think you can do it under contacts too, though. Let's look and see. I may have just told you wrong. Opportunities. So maybe you can't under that. It's when you get to the next level down, you can drag and drop. Okay. And so if you wanted to, let's see, I did, right here is the one I'm working on. So I click on that opportunity under that contact. This little pencil right here, that's how you go back in and edit if you're working with the buyer and you need to change it. So, or if you need to edit anything else, it's fine. That's where you go and edit all that. Okay.
Lost opportunity is that if it falls through.
Okay. And that's just like a toggle button off and on. Yeah. Okay, so I've got them in there. He's active, which means he's signed an exclusive right to sell. However, I'm going to show you how to do that, e-signing. Now, keep in mind that you don't have to e-sign. You don't have to use DocuSign. Some people are using zip forms. Some market centers, the people are still like the personally themselves buying .loop. Just keep in mind if you get a personal .loop account that your Zillow owns .loop now, and they have not agreed to keep your data secure. Oh, yeah. So they will turn around and try to sell you or other agents your leads. So that's why we went away from them. So if you're willing to risk that, that's fine. If you don't want to risk that, then I would not suggest using .loop. Okay. However, you can take a stack of paperwork to a client one-on-one in person and hand write it out and have them hand sign it. DocuSign is really for e-signing if you want to send it via email and have them e-sign it, and then it's connected to Command. But there will absolutely be times when you don't use it, right? Because you're not going to e-sign every document. There's going to be a combination. And even when we use .loop, that's the way it was. You get sometimes, I don't want to be stereotypical, but sometimes elderly couples who just don't. It's just easier to have them sign it than it is to mess with the email stuff. Like my parents didn't even have email. So that they wouldn't be. My mom wouldn't be e-signing anything. So just keep that in mind. If that DocuSign, it links to Command, but the Command compliance is kind of a separate egg than DocuSign. They just have a little connection. Okay, so keep that in mind too. Mm-hmm. That's why we're gonna put those YouTube videos out there about how to use DocuSign itself, because it's kind of separate. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to go into details. If you took my .loop class before, it was view details, and it was really important to get in there and put all the details in there. Let's see. I don't want to add tags. I think we're good here. We want to do the same thing in DocuSign. So I'm going to go to Documents, and we're going to pretend, even though I've moved it to active, that he hasn't signed an exclusive right to sell yet. And I'm going to pull that over and show you how to e-sign it. Okay. So when you go to Documents and you see all of these documents listed here, these are not the documents themselves. These are placeholders for you to upload a document to. You see where it says add a file? That's for you to add a file. Some people are getting confused thinking that where's the documents? It's just they call it a checklist. Okay. It really is just a placeholder for you, okay? And you'll see you've got 3 folders over here listed under contract and closed. And if it were a buyer, this would say consultation, because you're not listing, under contract and closed. So under the listed or consultation, you're going to put your ERTS or ERTB plus the agency disclosure. That's where those are going to go. And then under contract is going to go your contract, any addendums, and your green sheet, any of those other miscellaneous signed documents. Closed is really just going to be your closing disclosure. It's like your post-closing from closing documents and your CL 100 if there is one. Okay. Closing disclosure, it goes by like 5 different names, and I like to mention the one. It's closing disclosure, settlement statement, Alta, HUD. Am I missing one? I mean, because everybody goes, what's a closing disclosure? It's just, I have to list them all. Oh, that, yeah. It goes by like 5 different names, but whatever that is, that's what it is. And then I recommend, this didn't used to be there, but they've added this where you can add a new custom folder. I would recommend that you, every one that you have, every opportunity you have, you add a miscellaneous folder. Because you might want to keep a copy of the earnest money check or a copy of the inspection report or certain things that we don't have to look at for compliance. Mm-hmm. Okay, like the things in these other folders, we have to look at them. They're signed by clients, except for the green sheet, and I need that to pay you. So, but it's things that we need for compliance and to pay you. We don't need a copy of the earnest money check. We don't need a copy of the inspection report or the pre-approval letter from there's things that, or even, I even tell people sometimes there may be an email you want to keep, right? Because it proves something that the client requested you do or not do. Mm-hmm. You might want to pop that in there, but we don't want to have to wade through 30 documents and we only have to see 5, right? So I would recommend always putting a miscellaneous folder out there and popping those kinds of things in there. Okay, so I'm going to go to listed. I'm going to go start a transaction right here. That's how you get to DocuSign, and it gives you a choice because some people do have dotloop. It gives you a choice whether you want to go to DocuSign or dotloop. Once you choose in an opportunity which one you want to go to, you can't use the other in that opportunity ever. Okay, so it's not like I could go, okay, my list of documents I'm going to choose from DocuSign, and then I'm going to pull the contract from dotloop. It won't let you get there because right now this says start a transaction. Once I start it and choose one of these, the next time I go into this opportunity, it's going to say go to transaction. It's not going to say start a transaction. So don't let that confuse you either. That little button is going to change to go to transaction. And that kind of lets you know whether you started one. It's kind of nice because then you know, oh, I've already started one in this one, right? So we're going to start one through DocuSign. It's going to pull up my DocuSign account, make me sign in. And we want to add documents to our room. And so I'm going to do add, and I'm going to choose DocuSign Forms. And I'm going to select my library. Oh, look at there. That's new. So we used to only have, I'm going to have to investigate that later because it's kind of, so we used to only have South Carolina Association of Realtors. But I had submitted forms from our market center originally. And DocuSign, their first pass was just to set up the South Carolina forms, and they were going to get back to market center specific forms later. That's the first one I've seen that our market center specific forms are out there. Now, a lot of them will be duplicated. Because what I did was I sent them our South Carolina forms, right. So you might not ever have to use those, except that maybe the SDS exception form is in there now, that kind of stuff. So I'll have to go look and see what's out there. But South Carolina, now, the first time you do that, it's going to ask you for your NERDS number, because you have to have a NERDS number to get in there, okay? Now, if you don't know your NERDS number, there's a little link in there that says, find your NERDS number. You click on that, it pops you another screen and it says, put in your real estate license number, which you should hopefully know, and if you don't know, we have that information. You pop the license number in there and it pops up your NERDS number. Okay. And then you copy and paste that and put that in there, so it's no problem at all to find your NERDS number. And then once you do it once, like I did it once, it has never asked me for it again. So I think once it's in there for your email address, it keeps it in there, okay? So you can search this way, or you can scroll down, you've got all your document numbers. I'm going to do exclusive right to sell. And I'm going to go ahead and put sell up here so that hopefully it pulls up. Exclusive right to sell. That's transaction, listing, that's commercial. Listing agreement right there. SCR 220, exclusive right to sell agreement listing agreement. That's what I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose that one. And you can do more than one. You could do the agency. I would recommend probably doing the agency disclosure at the same time because you're almost always going to get those signed together. I'm just going to do one for now. Add that. It's going to add it to my room. There it is. Okay. This is where you want to be very careful to go to details. Okay. Go to details next. And right here you can edit, right? And I'm going to say, similar to what I said in my dotloop class, that what you put in over here is going to auto-populate in your forms. Remember, I don't know if you remember the dotloop did that. It's very similar. That was the view details. This is what's like view details. I was wrong about the opportunity details. This is what's like view details from dotloop. And so, would I put everything in? No, I wouldn't put every single thing in. But things like the address, which is already there because it pulled it, and things that you're going to be typing over and over again possibly, right. Or that you want to make sure is hard-coded in there, that you might go, oh, I might forget what that was 3 months from now, whatever. I would put it in here. So you can put all that kind of stuff in here. I'm not going to at this point. I am going to put this in here. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that if I can. Well, actually, I should do it like this. Let's put Reba. Let's do South Carolina. Property type, let's just do residential, let's do 86. Listing date, you could list today. Expiration date, let's put it out a while. Let's say that. I'm not going to put the offer date right now, but you can put, you know, all kinds of things in there, right? Selling concession, list side, outside referral, tax, you know, amount, bedrooms, total bed. It's very similar to all that stuff that Dotloop had, although, and I'm not going to put how many bedrooms and baths and all that stuff. What's really important about this screen, other than those details, is this side over here, and there are people that are missing this, so make sure. This right here is how you make sure, this is the next step in the next screen, how you make sure that when you pull this document up, it knows where your buyer and seller needs to sign. Okay, you remember how when you e-sign something, you want your client popped to the field where they need to initial or sign? This and something you choose in the next screen, which I'll show you, is what is the key to that. And people have been getting frustrated because it hasn't been working. It's because they aren't choosing the right things, they aren't filling this in. So over here, you can add 2 buyers, 2 sellers, a buyer's agent, and a seller's agent, okay? So I'm gonna put name in here. I'm not gonna write home and cell phone, I am gonna do email. I'm gonna use my own though. Okay, that's my buyer. And you can fill in all the other stuff. That's my seller. And this is seller 2. And then listing agent 1, that's gonna be me. And my email. Okay. And then you can add listing agent 2. You can add buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer agent 1, buyer agent 2. Okay, you see all that? Really, really important to get those in there if you want them to e-sign and not have a whole lot of more manual work for you. It'll still work, but it's gonna make manual work for you if you don't do this. Okay? So I'm gonna save that. And this next step is also important. Next couple steps. Room has been updated. So go to your documents. The next thing to do is pull up this document and fill out everything else. Because some people have been waiting until they pull it up to e-sign and try to fill it in, and then it's not auto-fillable and you have to drop text. Again, it's doable, but then you're choosing text box and dropping it in and choosing text box and dropping it in and having to expand the text. This is where it's auto-fillable. If you wait till the next step, it's not, I don't want to say auto-fillable. It's got places for you to pop in and do this. If you wait till the next screen where you send it for e-signing, you have to drop all these text boxes in there, which is, so make sure you pull it up here, okay? Found that out last week when I was doing the one-on-one. I was like, what happened? Where are the boxes? So you're gonna go in here and fill all this stuff out. Now what DocuSign has done, because you can't initial all of these, right? It's choices. Right. You do have to, in the next screen, drop those in there because not all of these should have an initial, and it can't read your mind to know which one should. So I'll show you that in a minute too. But see, whatever I put in there has auto-populated, but you're going to have to go in and fill in the rest of these boxes, right? Which is what you'd have to do anyway. And again,
you already put their names in there.
Clark Brazier.
And you put yours in. Where's yours as seller?
I'm not seller. I'm selling agent, and I'm not sure the selling agent,
you're the agent.
Name is even in here anywhere, is it?
So it wouldn't already have a box for their initials at the bottom to sign?
It does, but it's not showing it yet because this doesn't show on the screen. Gotcha. This is just the screen for you to finish filling out the document, okay? So let's pretend I filled all that in, right? I'm going to save and close. And now I'm going to go to envelopes. Think of it as this document is right now, it's called in a room. You can see up here where room is underlined. In order to think about it this way, in order for them to e-sign it, you've got to send it to them in an envelope. So if you keep that in mind, you're sending it in an envelope for e-signing. That's where you have to go to get them to e-sign it. So you click on envelopes, and you want to. I'll make sure she sees this.
Okay, good. Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm a slow
No, that's okay. I want to make sure you're getting it, because that's where people miss where I'm clicking. You want to create a new envelope, right? And it's going to ask you, what documents do you want to use? Use a template, which we don't have any templates yet. Do you want to upload it from your hard drive, which you can do that, and you can manually pop things in there if you want to. But for this, we're going to use Room Docs, okay? And it gives you a list of the documents that are in that room. We only have one. If you had more than one, it would let you select more than one. So we're going to add selected. And this is the next important thing. Make sure you get this. Add recipient. Make sure you select pre-tagged roles. If you select room participants or email address, it is not going to know that room participant is your buyer. When we filled out that right-hand side where we assigned seller 1 and selling agent 1, that's the pre-tagged roles. That's how it knows who should sign on the seller line, who should initial on the seller line. Okay. So a lot of people are going in here and either using email address or room participants and going, why isn't it putting all my initials down there?
Okay.
It's because they either didn't fill out that right-hand side or they didn't select pre-tagged roles here. Now again, you can do it, it's just a lot more manual if you don't do that.
So if you select room participants, no initials show up, or they're just all scattered, not where they're supposed to be?
You can, you have to physically add all the places for them to sign. It's doable, like I said, a lot more manual. Yeah. So pre-tag roles, and then it's going to make you choose. I want my seller 1, and it's going to make me select that that's Clark. And I'm going to do my listing agent. That's the only pre-tagged roles I have. And I'm going to choose myself, and I'm going to do add selected. See, it knows who I have pre-tagged in there. Needs to sign, okay? I'm going to go to next. And this is going to give you another opportunity now to, is it working yet? To add more things to the document, okay? But I'll show you the difference from the previous screen. So now you don't have, see the boxes aren't there for you just to pop in there and type? Right. Now, can I still add text? Can I click on here and add text right here? Absolutely. But now I'm doing that and trying to expand that box and let's move it over a little bit and it's doable. You can do that. But I don't want to do that. If you look up here are your pre-tagged roles. It's got me and Clark and we're different colors. And if you look at the colors, the places where we're to initial and sign are those colors. So any place I'm going to sign is going to be yellow, and any place he's going to sign is going to be blue. Okay? So now let's scroll down here and look. See how these right here? There's a little placeholder for it, but it's not yellow or blue. I'll show you the difference. So look, blue and yellow. Right? That's where the client signs. That's where I sign. If we had not used pre-tagged roles, all of those would be blank. And now, can I pull initial in? Yes, I can do that. In fact, I'm going to show you that up here.
And you just make sure that the person's is chosen up there to get the correct.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Let's escape that. Can I escape that? Well, it's just. I want to escape that. I want to escape that. Undo. Okay. So here, they've already they know that they're going to have to initial somewhere here. So you can click there, and then you can, if you look over here, required field, and it does that. So it's pretty, they don't make you drop the initials over there. They provide it there for you, but you have to click on the one that you want them to sign and just click required field here, and then it's there. It's pretty easy, considering. Yeah. And yes, you could then, drop them over and required field again. But, so you can, if you miss a field, you can go in here and drop text and fix it or whatever. It's just a lot easier to do it in the previous screen and use your pre-tagged roles. And then down at the very bottom, you're going to see where they can sign and all that. Okay? So when you send this to your client, they're going to do start signing, and it's going to pop them to any place that they want, and all they have to do is they have to click on the place that they're supposed to initial, and it'll pop their initials in. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and send it because it's going to go to my address. So I'll send that. And I'll show you because it does that and then it goes away. It needs my signature. A lot of people have asked, can I just go ahead and sign it when it's open? I don't see a way to do that in DocuSign. However, when you send it, it brings you right back here, and all I can do is click on it, and I'm going to say sign because it needs my signature. So I'm going to do continue. I'm going to start. Oh, I'm just going to fill in. Okay, because it wants me to fill in. I have to click it. Don't just click over here. Tell them. I had somebody clicking over here. Initial. No, you got to click there. If you click over here, it just goes to next, and it doesn't. I'll show you because it's going to pop me back there. These are all my required fields, and see it pops me back because I didn't actually click there. So that's done, and then I click finish, and that's it. And that's what your client's going to get. Okay. Same thing your client's going to get via email. Please sign this. One thing, see this, I missed showing you this. This right here is auto-populated. That says, when you open an envelope, it's kind of just auto-populated as the title of that envelope, please DocuSign. You can leave that. You might want to put a dash in the property address so that your client or their client name, or you might want to get rid of please DocuSign and just put their name, or what, I don't know. That's you can change that if you want to. Okay, so now we have this document. I'm going to go back to command because that's a whole different window. That DocuSign opened a whole different window. Let's pretend now that we have this document, right? So now let's just pretend they signed it. Now I've got the exclusive right to sell right here. Remember, this is my placeholder. I'm going to do add a file. Now, I could add a file manually, and you will use that because you have to add your green sheet that way right now until we've rolled out the commissions tab. You're still doing green sheets, and that's one that you save to your hard drive and put it someplace out there where you know where it is. And you manually go out there and browse, and that's where you can either drag or drop or browse in here. Okay, right? You're pretty good with that. We haven't created any custom folders, so I'm going to go to DocuSign because that's where I want to pull this from. Well, it knows which DocuSign room is attached to this opportunity, so it's going to give you. If I had 3 or 4 documents in there, I've clicked on the exclusive right to sell, but that's what I want to do, and I want to sign that. And there you see the name of it right there. Okay, that's how easy it is to add documents once you get them signed. Okay, so you have that, you have the under contract, and you have the close. Same process, regardless of even your miscellaneous folders. Now, let's say we have placeholders for you, and when I first did this, I had all these miscellaneous document 1, miscellaneous document 2, miscellaneous document, because I thought, what if there's a document that I don't have in the list? Well, now they've changed. I got rid of all of those because they've changed where you can add your own item. So if you happen to have a document that I don't have listed here because it's I've tried to list the basic stuff.
Right.
But if you have some weird thing that's like, this is a weird document that my clients, that is required and they had to sign, you can add item and name it yourself.
Okay.
And submit it still, okay? So
That's cool.
yeah, that's very helpful because I had all these miscellaneous ones out there. You'll see this change to go to transaction, like I said it would, rather than start transaction. Now, right now, you can click on these 3 dots and you can remove this one or you can print it. Once you submit to MC, this status changes to submitted, and that just changes to replace. You can't remove it anymore, you can only replace it. Okay, but that's fine, replace it, it's no big deal. Now you're going to submit, once you have all your documents in there, like once you have your exclusive right to sell and your agency disclosure, we want that submitted, right? It's for us to review, and then once you have your contract and all the green sheet and all that stuff done, that's submitted also in the under contract folder. This folder here is like the post-closing documents that we had in Dotloop if you were here for that. I have to make sure it's there, and we don't check it ahead of time because you don't have the closing disclosure until you're at the lawyer's table, right? That's when you get it, is at closing day. So we don't check that ahead of time. And we know that there's really nothing to approve on that. It's just that we have to keep it. So you don't ever have to submit that.
Okay.
Don't worry about submitting the closed folder. When your closing check comes in, I will click on this and make sure your closing disclosure and your CL 100, if you have it, is there. And I'll let you know if it's not. I'll pop you a little message letting you know that if it's not there. But we don't have to approve anything. So you don't ever actually have to submit it. If you do submit it, we're going to look at it and we're going to approve it, you know.
Okay.
But it just makes a little bit more work for us to have to then do that, you know. If you're approved, you'll see approved and approved next to your photos. If for some reason you submit this and it's rejected, okay, you're going to see the status here. If it's approved, you'll see approved there in green. If it's rejected, you'll see rejected there in red. And there'll be a little like speech bubble right here that you just hover over and it'll tell you why.
Okay.
Missing signatures on page 2 or whatever.
Okay.
Right? The other thing we're doing is we can also add a comment. So if I add a comment right here, let's do at Diane Brazier.
This is neat.
Yeah, I like this. I'm going to say test comment, training, add reply, right? I'm going to refresh this because this should have a little red dot on it. So let's see what happens when I refresh it. That little red dot pops up for me. It doesn't. That's really interesting. It may be because I wonder if it shouldn't take that much time. I wonder if it's because I'm in like a training thing and it's not really my personal stuff. But if we sent you, in fact, I might have it over here. It might go to me in compliance. I'm not sure. No, not there either. If we send you a comment in there, you'll see it. You'll see a little red dot on this bell, and that way you know you have notifications. And you can go there, and when you read it, you can click. Okay, done. So you don't have to keep seeing them. Like it won't be a huge list. You can kind of click. Got it, and they go away. Okay. Let's go to opportunities again. Go back to that one. Where did it go? Oh, it's down here. There it is. I had to scroll down. Okay, that's what I'm working on. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the compliance. I usually, what time is it? I usually do kind of like to show the offers tab because it's kind of cool. Do you want me to show you that real quick? Sure. Okay. The offers tab is pretty cool. I really like it. So there are no offers. So you can add new offer. And so you say initial offer. I would always put the person's name, and they say you really should, the recommendation is you really should leave initial offer there in case you have counter offers going back and forth so that you'll know this was the initial. So if I say, let's say Smith, like this is an offer from Smith, and it's initial offer, and you're going to create the offer. You go in here and I can look at my screen. So offer date, close date, well, it's not going to be 124. Let's put it out there at least a little bit. And you go to parties and you go, the buyer is, let's say, John Smith. You don't have to fill in a whole lot, but we know that Clark Brazier's that. Let's say he's pre-approved and pre-qualified, but this is all stuff you can fill in. You can fill in their agent's name, and then there's my name as that agent. You go to associate's name, representation. Let's just say that, well, let's just say Megan is there. Let's have Megan represent them. So then you've got your terms here. So how much is cash? How much they're going to finance? So we were asking 200,000. So we're going to say cash is going to be like 150, and they're going to finance 50. And obviously, if it's not a full price offer, that's not going to be what it is.
Right.
And then the earnest amount. What I've noticed is that they'll only let you put a whole percentage in here. Like if I put 2% in there, it's going to put $4,000. What if I only wanted to put like $3,000, which would be like 1.5. You can't put 1.5 here. It won't let you put 1.5. But if I put 35, if I put 3,000 in there, it does it itself. Isn't that weird? I find that a little weird that I can't put 1.5 in there.
Maybe people couldn't figure out that it was 1.5%, so but they knew how much the check was for.
Maybe they don't trust people. I don't know. But if you put the amount, you can just, the easiest thing is just at that point just to put the earnest money amount in there, and it'll figure out the rest. Option fees, buyer will give notice of termination within this. Seller will, let's say they're going to contribute like 2,000 there. No, that's like a home warranty. Let's do 2,000 closing costs. Okay, agent analysis. So this is, let me go back. That little button, agent analysis. This is for you to go in and say, okay, they're pre-approved. That's a right, full price, and then the cons might be $2,000 closing costs, right? You can put whatever you want in there. I would be careful to be factual, just because I think legally you have to be careful about, you can't say this guy's a jerk, you don't want to sell him, right? Or, you have to be careful when you present offers that about how much you sway them or not, right? You have to be kind of factual. So I would be careful in here just to be pretty factual about things and just put out there. So we're going to save that one. And then we're going to add another one real quick. We're going to do another one. Let's go Jones. Create offer. And this is going to be, I'll do this real quick since I showed you that stuff. Let's just go through it real quick. And let's go, let's do Megan on this one too, just to be easy. Terms, let's say, this is going to be cash of that, and not a full price offer, not really serious about it, but hey, 0 there. So that's it. So then you go, pros are no closing costs, cons are less than full price, right?
Sure.
And maybe not, right? So now keep in mind that as you're working real estate, you deal with this stuff all the time. And it's when you deal with something all the time, it's kind of easier for you to keep certain things in your head, right? Because you're used to thinking about it all the time. This might be the first and only time your client has ever done this. So keeping all this information in their heads and thinking it through is a lot more difficult for them. So the neat thing about this is if you click on either select all, or let's just do select all, and click on compare offers, it brings up a comparison.
That's cool.
Including your agent analysis, which is why I would be careful, right? But it puts it side by side. If you've got in a multiple offer situation, if you've got 3 offers, and then you can email it, you can download it and send it to them. You can download it and print it out if they're an elderly couple and don't deal with email. You can do that. It's a pretty cool. I love this feature. It's pretty cool. Now, do you need to do that if you only have one offer? No, it's only one offer. Right. But it's really cool in a multiple offer situation to be able to do that for your client. It's a pretty nifty little. It makes you look really I think it makes you look really professional too.
Definitely.
Like here's your offers, and so that they can choose. And when you go back to offers, you can click on one and say we're going to accept that one, right? And then you've got offers. Now, for future use, this is for future because this isn't working yet. Once you click on offers, then you can go to the commissions tab. You can't go to the commissions tab until you have an offer. So that's still not rolled out yet. In fact, I tested it this morning because the commissions tab is showing up for some of my our agents, and so I tested it this morning, and it's showing up, and I can enter things, and it actually lets me submit. But when I submit, it doesn't come to me as MCA, so it's not turned on yet. So we haven't really rolled that out yet. But once we roll that out, that's going to get rid of green sheets. Okay. Right now, we're still doing green sheets.
So it will be mandatory to put in an offer and then go to commissions.
Yeah, you can't go to commissions without an offer being accepted.
Okay.
You have to accept an offer.
Okay.
Because if you don't accept an offer, how do you know
Right.
You don't know the commission's information.
Sure.
So it doesn't make any sense to go there. So they make you have an accepted offer before you go to commissions. Okay? So that's pretty much the deal. Like I said, that took us, and I went over the even now, that took us 15 minutes for me to explain that. Once you do it a couple times, you're going to be faster. And again, keep in mind that beginning stuff, adding a contact, that's already going to have been done.
Right.
So this is just, and it's not like you're going to do this all at once. You're going to do the exclusive right to sell or buy and the age disclosure and get those uploaded, and you're going to be done. That's going to probably, in the long run, take you probably 5 to 10 minutes max to do. And then when you have a contract, it's not going to be like I have to sit down for an hour, and it's not going to be like that. Okay, so keep that in mind too. And again, if you need any help, I'm happy to take you through, walking through all of this again.
I have a question about your contacts.
Yeah.
So if I've got, a command from my listing agent and from my buyer's agent, and they have separate contacts, how do I merge their contacts? Can I do that at all? Like I want their list to be one full list.
So you're gonna need teams. So you guys are new, and I don't think that I have set you up as a team yet.
Okay.
So I need to get you set up as a team. Make sure when I walk out of here, I don't forget to at least write that down or do it, because it takes 2 seconds to do. Once I put them on a team on my end, then you can go in there and make them a team in command, and then all that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. So yeah, it's a great question,
That will make more
because I
sense.
haven't done that yet. So I'll need to know the name of your team too, because I don't even think I have that information.
Awesome.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think
We
it
good?
definitely helped the second time.
Yeah.
First time it was like, what did she say? I couldn't keep up with you.
Well, it is a little bit easier in a smaller room.
I was on my computer too, and I didn't
It
know.
is
So
hard.
I was still trying to figure out what you were doing on my computer, and I couldn't catch up to the next part.
That's why I say what I say at the beginning, because sometimes when you're trying to do it yourself when I'm teaching it, you just get behind quickly, and So, but again, if you want to walk through it with me the first couple times through, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
And usually, like even technologically challenged people, you're young enough that you shouldn't be technologically challenged. People my age.
I'm an old soul.
It's people more my age, that are like, on this stuff. But even the people that are, that have a hard time with technology, once I've walked them through a couple times, they're like, oh, okay. Because again, it's doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Once you do it yourself a couple times, it's a lot easier.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay? Good?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let me
I
know if you have any
appreciate
questions or problems. Happy to help you.
Thank you. See, I brought my tablet again. My computer.
Do you wanna stop?
Yeah, please stop that.